Good evening from Washington, D.C. everyone. I am your host Jillian Wong, coming to you with today's Election Day special. Today, we start off the news with some reports that a car has deviated off of its path on I-95, and has landed in a ditch on the side of that road. No injuries were reported, and the driver was reported to have walked away with only bruises and scratches. Golly, I am surprised that in an accident like this, that the riders in the vehicle were spared completely. In other news, Republican candidate Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton have made their way to polling centers in New York City, per reports from other news stations. In weather, light rain was reported in the area, and will clear out by the time people start coming home from voting. What's going on? Get us back on.
Greetings, American citizens. You may not know who I am, but that's not important. I am the head of a movement called the Phoenix Connection. The government is not what you think it is. They don't give a fuck about you. You're a number, and that's it. A pawn in someone else's game. They've been manipulating you, watching you, exploiting you. When they get what they want, they'll leave you for dead. So here's the deal. Alone, you can put up a fight, but if you start a war, you have to be right back to that.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Metropolitan Police Department. Residents of the District of Columbia are urged to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity. About 1 hour ago, a terroristic threat was made over national television. The source of this threat is unknown, but authorities are looking into the matter. At this time, you are not in immediate danger, and no attack has taken place at this time. Since it is unknown where this unknown threat will strike, all residents are to stay on edge. All residents receiving this broadcast are ordered to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity, and report it to the police immediately. Stay tuned for more information on this mysterious situation.
Good afternoon, Philadelphia. I am Jacob Allen, coming to you with the afternoon news. Today's headlines are stemming to reports of a terroristic threat being made on national television. While citizens across the country were watching the news, the broadcast suddenly cut out, and the threat was transmitted to all television screens far and wide. It is being deemed an accident at this time, and authorities are looking into the matter to determine the cause of the abrupt interruption. In other news, the Flyers have cut ties with their prized prospect center Dave Knight, as they have dealt him to the Red Wings for prospect goalie Igor Kostitsyn. Kostitsyn garnered a measly .430 goals against average in Detroit's affiliate, Grand Rapids. Holy smokes! We have some breaking news to report. Several explosions have been reported at the Lincoln Financial Field, where polling is taking place at. At this time, casualties have not been reported, and police are rushing to the scene. We will continue to follow this dangerous situation, so stay tuned to this station for more information.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Philadelphia Police Department. Residents living near the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, evacuate the area immediately. Reports of several explosions in the Lincoln Financial Field from unknown sources have been reported. At around 2:55 p.m. Eastern Time, reports of explosions on the second and third tiers of the stadium were witnessed by bystanders in the area. At this time, there have been a reported 7 fatalities, and 2 injuries from the fire and smoke, as well as debris ejected out by the explosion. Damage has been reported to the stadium, as well as slight damage to cars around the area from debris that were ejected in the explosion. Police are now on the scene, and are looking into the cause of the explosions. At this time, the explosions are deemed to be an accident. Residents within a quarter-mile radius of the Lincoln Financial Field are to leave the area, as it is unknown if any harmful chemicals were ejected into the air. Those outside the radius are urged to not enter the area at all costs. The following road closures have been ordered by police: Pattison Avenue from Broad Street to South Lawrence Street. Delaware Expressway from the exit on Packer Avenue all the way to Wells Fargo Center. Broad Street from the Delaware Expressway to Pattison Avenue. And South Lawrence Street from the Delaware Expressway to Packer Avenue. These road closures are in effect until further notice, and residents are advised not to enter the area. Any and all entries, including but not limited to civilian, media, and public transportation services, will be halted on site. Stay tuned to local media outlets for more information on this dangerous situation.
Good evening to all viewers in New York City. We have some very scary news to report to the citizens of the Big Apple. Right now, as we speak, a state of emergency has been declared across New York City as well as all boroughs surrounding it. This is due to several violent attacks being reported around the city. Attacks ranging from random shootings, bombings, and even some isolated chemical attacks have been made around the city. Places seeing the most attacks:
the Statue of Liberty, Times Square, New York City Hall, and Madison Square Garden. We are safe for the moment, but we are not going to stay long. The NYPD is struggling to deal with. Fuck. Everyone get up now. The place is gonna blow.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the New York City Police Department and the Department of Homeland Security. An extremely dangerous situation is currently unfolding in New York City at this time. At around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, reports of chemical explosions, shootings, and bombings have been made in New York City. The city is in immediate danger from these attackers. At this time, the intentions of these attackers are unknown. SWAT teams have been deployed in New York City to resolve the issue. At this time, all residents in the city are ordered to evacuate, and are advised to not return home. If you reside in an area where chemical weapons have been detonated, do not go outside for any reason. If you are approached by one of the attackers, follow their demands, and do not approach them in a threatening manner. Regardless if you are evacuating or sheltering in place, take essential supplies with you, and do not call 911 unless of an actual emergency. Shelters for evacuees will be announced on local media stations in the area. Stay tuned for further updates on this dangerous situation.
Till it's done, I don't really give a fuck, and my excuse is that I'm young and I'm only getting older. Somebody should've told you I'm on one, yeah. Fuck it, I'm on one, yeah. I said I'm on one. Fuck it, I'm on one. 2 white cups and I got that drink. Could be purple or could be pink, depending on how you mix that shit. Money to be gotten, I'ma get that shit, cause I'm on one. I said fuck it, I'm on one. I walk around the club, fuck everybody, and all my niggas got that heat, I feel like Pat Riley. Yeah, too much money ain't enough money. You know the feds listening.
This is an emergency action notification, requested by the White House. All EAS participants will follow activation procedures in the EAS Operating Handbook for a national-level emergency. The President of the United States or one of his representatives will shortly deliver a message over the emergency alert system. Please stand by. Please stand by. Please stand by. Stand by. The President of the United States, or one of his representatives, will be speaking shortly. Stand by.
Good evening. I am coming to you on behalf of the President, as he is being moved to a classified location at this time. I announce with a heavy heart, that on a day of peaceful power transfer, that we are being attacked by an enemy from our own backyard. An attack on the United States has been orchestrated by a militant faction, known only as the Phoenix Connection. This is a rebellious faction that has waged terroristic attacks against us in New York City and Philadelphia. More attacks are expected as time goes on. Even though we have been bruised by this horrible day in American history, all residents must act now, and seek shelter immediately. Avoid these attackers at all cost, and do whatever you can to survive this tragic event. That is all I can say at this time. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America.
This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast and cable stations shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This station has interrupted regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air, to provide news and information to the public in assigned areas. This WPXI. We will continue to serve Pittsburgh area. If you are not in this local area, you should now tune to stations providing news and information to your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving Pittsburgh area. Do not use the telephone. The telephone lines should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated. An administrative message from the United States government. Please stand by for a message from a representative of the President. The terroristic attacks from the group known as the Phoenix Connection have ceased. There is damage in several cities on the east coast of the United States, as well as to several government buildings in those respective cities. At this time, an estimated 5,000 casualties have been reported from those attacks, as well as almost $10 million in damages. This is an all clear. All residents receiving this broadcast may now exit their shelters, but must remain on edge. It is unknown if the events of today will happen again in the future, but all residents of the United States must be ready for any future incidents. The tragedy of this Election Day attack will not be forgotten, and certainly not forgiven. All residents, thank you for your cooperation during this emergency. We now return you to your regular programming.
Please, just get rid of them. Can we get some money? We this person right here just sit here. He's made 6 bad comments. We got 2 mods in the room. Easy Explorer, you're gonna get, but I've lost the everything. I've lost Lord. Second out. Political talk, just been banned said person that an exotic Pepsi 1, 2. Well, I've been banned 9 times. Him giving it free to Prime to me is not gonna stop him from being banned. You know, nobody has about cars, ban them outright. The only jokes you made him get banned from a fucking channel. People it's pretty much the norm. Yellow, can we go ahead and ban these jigs? Can we ban these that are constantly asking them questions? Ban Ingle Conley, please. Those are both just variations last names of girlfriends I've had. Go ahead and ban talking about Beechwood. Ban Miss Yellow Dick Swagger. From Spawn, just anybody that asks for Sicario. All we trolls tonight. Go ahead and word Sicario, please. Hey, Morgan. I'm about to ban you, and you look like a pussy. Like your mom's livelihood. Ban the sick limit, please. Again, the bot isn't mine. Man, why don't you just put the bot's name